Ondo Guber election, factors that shaped the election. With me here in the studio, I have a legal practitioner, public affairs commentator, a Rotary. Join me to welcome Barrister Owaikena Godwin. Barrister, thank you so much for joining us on TMI.
My pleasure, man.
All right. So very close to him is a vibrant youth political analyst, public affairs commentator, and of course, one of the top echelon of the APC, Sosa Moime. Thank you so much for coming on today's show, Sosa.
Thank you, Wisin, for having me. Thank you, viewers at home, for allowing us into your space.
All right. Well, all the way from New Jersey in the United States of America, let's make welcome Honorable Ehi Ihariba. He's a member of the APC. A fine gentleman. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of This Morning on ITV. All right. Just see if you can unmute your speaker. I can't hear you. Just unmute your mic, okay? Unmute your mic and definitely.
Happy Sunday, viewers.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear. It's a pleasure to have you join us. Okay, gentlemen, it's all about Ondo State election. Before we delve into what is going on in Edo State, we're spending the likes of Samuel Yigata to come join us in the studio to contribute his own quota to this discussion. As it stands right now, not the umpire, but from the results called, Ayeda Tiwa of the APC is leading. Until the final result, we cannot say for sure who the winner is, but as it stands right now, the incumbent governor is leading while others are trailing. Taking a look at the factors that really fashioned the Ondo State election, what do you think was predominant in this election as in relation to other elections in Nigeria? Let me start from Barrister Godwin Owaikena.
Yes, it's a good day, everybody. Let me say straight away, Ondo State, it has been a progressive state. One of the areas established by Jashin, the Yoruba people are progressing, fairness to them. And it will be difficult to get a conservative party to uproot them, except during Mimiko, where there was fracas within their parties. It's not surprising that the Yorubas, that's a grassroots historically for the progressives, and APC repressed as it were. Forget about the hardship. The people still believe in their people. Akeredolu is just dead, and he did very well in that area. And taken over by deputy. Deputy continuing with his stride. It will be difficult to uproot them, particularly when they are waste, adjacent followers from the beginning who believe in the doctrine of Oduduwa, that Yoruba must move forward. And I'm not surprised that there are one so far in 15 local government councils. It's not unexpected. I do not believe there's any foul play because the people believe in themselves.
You don't believe there's any foul play?
I don't believe that because ordinarily, nobody would believe that PDP will win in Ondo. How? Because that is a grassroots Yoruba nation. I'm being led by a Yoruba president for the first time in this dispensation. How do you think another party that couldn't even challenge him? Look at the last election in Ondo State, presidential election. Did they near APC? What magic do you think they will play this time around? I'm not saying we don't know the result yet, but from my assessment, I have an issue. I know that it's going to be APC.
All right, well, since we're not INEC, we're not the umpire, let's just hold brakes. Let's apply brakes. But as it stands right now, with the result announced, 15 local council has been claimed by the APC. Some are saying this is a pure case, like the opposition, a case of oppression, a case of states and federal might combined to squash all the political party for everyone wearing their hair. But like what he said, he didn't see it happening the other way. What he saw, because of the progressive nature of the Yoruba people, definitely, according to him, they would dance to the tune of the APC. Over now to you, Esosa.
Well, I want to start by saying that all politics are local. So whatever is playing out in Ondo State may be as a result of the local politics play, on ground there as at the moment. I am not on ground, and the result has not, the final result has not been collated and announced. So we may not be able to call the result as at yet. However, from the feelers we are getting, it is obvious that possibly the incumbent governor is coasting to victory. Now, as alluded to by my co-panelists, you will recall that the former governor, late, now deceased, was saddled with the responsibility of leading Ondo State. That is the late Governor Akeredolu. And then his deputy is or was the incumbent governor, Ayedatiwa. Now they have a policy, by our rules and constitution, if a governor is incapacitated or is diseased, the deputy takes over, And Ayedatiwa took over from, upon the demise of Governor Akeredolu, Ayedatiwa took over. And I believe he may have impacted the people. If he has not impacted the people, then the people will come out en masse and vote against him. Like my co-panelist also said, that Ondo State has been a very strong APC, has been a stronghold for the APC. And upsetting the APC in that terrain may be difficult, but it is not impossible. I remember vividly in Edo State, the PDP had a very strong hold in this state, and in most of the South states. During the time of Governor Lucky Binedion, the PDP had sway. But one way or the other, the people decided that they wanted a change. And the slogan then was, Osomole came with a very strong slogan of change, with the APC then, ACN, at the formative stage. And eventually the people chose the APC or the ACN as it were as at that time. What I'm actually saying is that it is not impossible to upset an incumbent. In short, in Edo State, it was the PDP that was the ruling party just about a week ago. It's not up to a week they sworn in the governor. 8 days ago, it was the PDP, and the PDP had sway, with Governor Godwin Obaseki. In all the 18 local governments, they have their chairman there. But at the end of the day, the people said, we've had enough of the PDP, we've had enough of Godwin Obaseki, and they voted massively for Governor Monday Okpebholo. So what I'm saying is that incumbency factor may not actually be the determinant factor of any election. What the people feel, what the people think, will always be the factor.
All right, so I'll come back to you shortly. Let's move over to New Jersey, USA, where Honorable Hiyariva is standing by. Well, there's this report of the process being peaceful, but there's this worry that some persons were caught with large sums of money. I mean, bags of money. Now, what do you feel about the aspect of vote buying is becoming predominant in Nigerian politics? Honorable, over to you.
Well, I think it's a situation that has become worrisome in the sense that right now some persons are taking advantage of the poverty rate in the country and wanting to weaponize, poverty by trying to induce voters by, buying votes and their conscience. But again, it is a responsibility, the civic responsibility of citizens to look past immediate gains and resort to, making consensus choices at the polls. Because no matter how much you are going to be given on election day, obviously it will not be enough to sustain you for a period of 4 years in which the person who eventually gets elected gets to rule, especially as governor of the state in this instance. Therefore, it behoves on the citizens, to do what is right at the polls, look past immediate gains, and elect those whom they feel are capable, of turning their fortunes around and implementing, policies and bringing about projects that will bring development to their states and, of course, to our country. So I'm going to lay the blame mostly. While, yes, I will blame some politicians who are involved in these desperate tactics. But more importantly, I'm going to blame the citizens. Politicians come from amongst the citizens. So if the giver of a bribe is only successful when there is a receiver of that bribe, if you will turn down the proceeds or whatever is being offered to you and opt to vote your conscience, then those who are giving will no longer be encouraged to give further. Therefore, I'm calling on Nigerians, going forward, always vote for those you think can change your fortunes, and that must be imbibed. Having said that,
You can continue, please. We can hear you.
yeah, having said that, I'd like to add to what my co-discussant have been saying. Ondo State hasn't been so steady politically in terms of one state having one political party having a clean sweep. I remember when they first started, when we started this democracy again in 1999, the AD, as it were, Alliance for Democracy, produced the governor of the time, who was Adebayo Adefara. you know. Then President Obasanjo, of course, really went for the southwest states, and he was able to use Olusegun Agagu, it was, who became governor in 2003. And when Olusegun Mimiko had wanted to succeed him, and Obasanjo then refused flatly, even though Mimiko was his minister in his cabinet. Mimiko had to go to Labour Party. It was a strange party. It was new. And he was the very first person to become a Labour Party governor in Nigeria. And he won that election, and when he was leaving again, he decamped towards the end of his tenure to the PDP. And of course, we had the former NBA president, national president Rotimi Akeredolu, and he came and won the state back for the APC. Unfortunately, he's demised before the expiration of his second tenure. In his is a deputy governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who is there now. But ironically, what is even interesting is that the PDP candidate Agbola Ajayi, was the deputy governor of Rotimi Akeredolu
Akeredolu,
in
yes,
his
in his
first
first tenure.
tenure. In his first tenure, that was his deputy governor, but he opted for Lucky Aiyedatiwa in his second tenure. So it's actually a contest of two former deputy governors of Rotimi uh, Akeredolu.
All
So
right.
it's a defined contest, and I believe that from what we have so far, the candidate of the APC has carried the day because
Well, we are
he's
not
won in
INEC.
15 out of
We
18.
are not INEC. Until we hear from the umpire, we cannot say what a political party is like, coming out tops or going to carry the day. Let's just wait patiently for the umpire to give to us the final result. But he gave us a breakdown of the history of Ondo State in terms of election, talked about Mimiko, talked about Akeredolu, talked about the antecedent that led to bringing forth Aiyedatiwa. He was one time, the deputy governor, Agbola, also of the PDP, a deputy governor, but Agbola and the PDP, they are crying foul. They're accusing INEC and Nigerian police of colluding with the ruling party to manipulate the election. Now, what do you feel about this allegation leveled against the umpire and, of course, the Nigerian police force, to the extent that they said INEC chairman should resign?
See, a man who fails exam must give excuse for his failure. My idea about the whole thing, what I have said earlier, some people said they were buying vote, buying this, carrying money, and that our man abroad, diaspora, just said people should vote their conscience. A hungry man have no conscience. A hungry man think of what to eat. A man hardly got no 1,000, somebody giving him 5,000. Apparently, the children are too hungry. You are telling him to vote your conscience. The man that will come and give him food. There can be no democracy when there is poverty. Nigeria own is worse. Democracy thrives where people have means to survive. The hungry man cannot vote his conscience because he has no conscience anymore. He's looking of what to eat to survive. The other people I say, I next resign. Some people have no transport to go to the polling booth. Somebody giving you 2,000 to go to the polling booth. A loaf of bread and pure water. I recall one election I went to in Ekpoma. I just stayed there to bring a lorry of what you call a truck of pure water. Old women were carrying one packet. Which one do we join now?
Just for one sachet.
I just wanted that one. I supported Buhari when he first came because I luckily didn't do well. I went to Isha, I'm saying Buhari more win because he was the head of state when I was a UCOPA. His impact that time make me believe he's a progressive. But then people came just because. Which one do you comfort? They thought they had brought money from Benin. Okay, madam, take it. They were running home to go and drop their water and coming back. Which one will I vote for? That is the situation we are in. It's worse today. You move, I'm in town. You see people stop you. Corporate dress, I have no transport. I'm hungry. Now a man who is hungry sees food. You tell him not to vote for the food. So issue of crying this and that, annex you resign. The issue on ground is how do government of the day try to alleviate the suffering of the people? That people should vote their conscience because of the next 4 years. The children have not paid school fees, no light bill, no water to drink, no soap to bath. What are we talking about? Democracy thrives when there is opportunity. For me, whatever happens there is dictated by the current events on the ground. That annex you resign or not resign, it doesn't matter. Even the policeman going there, can he polish his shoes? These are the issues we should look at, the grassroots problem in this country.
So saying that as long as the situation persists, vote buying must surely hold sway.
As long as poverty is the order of the day. That is my understanding about it. A hungry man cannot think of tomorrow, say, okay, I will get conscience tomorrow. When he gets home, the children are hungry. Vote buying, at least ephemeral enjoyment, quite ephemeral. But then
it's something.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, as I say, you heard him. And of course, Honorable Eyegaba reacted to that and he gave us an antecedent of the politics and politicking in Ondo State from 1999 to the present dispensation. But the issue also of PDP crying foul, saying that there's a collusion between the Nigerian Police Force, INEC, and of course APC to carry the day. That's the reason why we are seeing what we are seeing and hearing what you are hearing, and they are not in tune with it. And of course, we're going to talk about the issue of vote buying. Take it up from these angles.
Thank you very much once again. Well, on the issue of vote buying, let me state categorically that it is a sad development in our politics. And I want to use this opportunity to poo-poo on those that introduce the issue of vote buying into our polity and our politics. It has not helped our land, and it is not helping situation at all. Our electoral process has become too monetized that if we don't check it, it may be the derailment of democracy. In short, as it is, with the prevalence of vote buying and vote selling, you will discover that the votes that we may be currently getting may not be a true reflection of the true conscience of the people, but as what we are getting is a resultant of a compromised conscience, you know. The people are also soliciting, those that are soliciting for votes are buying, while there are others that are also advocating for selling their votes. For example, if you work as a canvasser, you know, on election day, as a please, we'll try and vote for our party, this is what we have to offer. This is the policy, this is the good governance, this, you know, these are our policies that we intend to bring on board if you vote for us. I can tell you that most of the time they are not interested in those policies. Some of them will be asking you that, how much are you giving us? You know, so it is a worrisome development, and I'll call on the authorities to find a way of checking that the menace of electoral.
But they are accusing the APC of being the chain quote right now of vote buying. Even in Ondo State election. After all, the Ondo State, they and the federal say that money is not an issue to them. Give the post-market infrastructure the vote for us. What do you have to say about that allegation about the APC in this election?
You see, I don't always like laying the blame any blame at all on the doorstep of a particular political party. The stomach infrastructure that you mentioned, I think those words came into our lexicon through a PDP governor, the Oshokomole himself. You know who I'm talking about. You know, he introduced those words, stomach infrastructure.
But he never said vote buying. Because it was like stomach infrastructure. You do this, you do that. Stomach infrastructure, meaning feed the people.
Ayodele Fayose.
Fayose, yes, Fayose, exactly. Thank you, yes.
Now, I'm coming. He mentioned stomach infrastructure. Now, during the days of the PDP, we also heard of share the money. I know you must have heard that from among politicians or even from among the populists. I'm not trying to say that any political party is a saint here. Let's be realistic. In short, the personnel, they keep changing. Just like Honorable Raiva rightly stated. He said it was basically a contest. The Ondo State election is basically a contest of two deputies. Both of them were formerly of the APC, and then one defected to the PDP, and then they are running against each other. So are you not going to say that because he's now of the PDP, automatically has become a saint? No, that's not the reality. In short, if there is the issue of vote buying, it is actually a case of someone buying the other. That's the reality. There is no.
So saying all parties are involved at various levels.
One way or the other, that I believe that is the case. You know,
right.
That is unfortunate, and I think that the situation should be checked. In short, one way of checking it is this. Let me anchor this. We need moral realignment and moral armament. You know, we need to rearm ourselves morally. The way it is today, if you are not selling, somebody is buying. If you are not buying, somebody is selling. You get what I'm saying? So the situation is so bad that it has become endemic. You know, it has permeated down. Not just the politicians now. The people are expecting you as a politician to give them something in order for them to exercise their franchise. And that is so unfortunate.
All right, that is truly unfortunate. Let's move straight down to New Jersey, where Honorable Gariba is standing by a side vote buying. Some are of the opinion that gradually and aggressively Nigeria is beginning to go towards a one-party system. As it stands right now, the award is saying that the APC is so aggressive in this particular dispensation, and they fear that maybe given 4 to 5 years, all states in Nigeria may just be APC. Now, what do you have to say about this palpable fear? They're accusing Mr. President of being an aggressive politician, all because of 2027.
Not necessarily so. I don't see that happening. Of course, the APC will have majority of the states, which we currently enjoy, and it will be sustained, and perhaps several states will be added to the fold. The PDP has been in this situation before. You know, the beauty about democracy is, firstly, it's not just about getting power, but it's about sustaining yourself in power. And one of the ways to sustain yourself in power is to bring development to the people. If you look at the case of Lagos State, there's been consistency in the political direction of Lagos State, ably since 1999 in particular, ably led by the now president of our country, who was the first governor from 1999 to 2007. And so, what is going on in Nigeria today, for me, yes, these are very challenging times for the average Nigerian economically, which my co-discussed and mentioned, I beg your pardon, could be a reason why people will make not such a rational choice to opt for 5,000, as though that would be enough today to provide for a pot of soup. Is definitely not enough. So what it behoves on the citizens to make rational choices. And one of the rational choices to make in this instance is to vote for those you think are capable, or in the case of this governor, is capable of turning your fortunes around. Because 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 is not going to turn your fortunes around. If you talk about cooking a pot of soup, I mean, that's not going to take you for 4 years. Again, like I was saying, when you talk about the APC dominating, because I think many Nigerians are beginning to understand what is going on right now. You know, we have been a pampered people, and we're going in the wrong direction politically. The conscience of the people is being reorganized. Why am I saying this? Hitherto, most Nigerians were of the erroneous opinion that only the federal government of Nigeria should, actually, change their fortunes. So every little thing that happened, if you listen carefully to the Edo State election, you would have thought it was a presidential election. They were now the people are aware that besides the federal government that we also have a state government and we have a local government. All of these people are responsible for development and for poverty alleviation. So therefore, you cannot keep crying to the president why your local government is not producing tomatoes, pepper, onions, corn, yam, as the case may be, or your state does not have farms to provide certain basic, food crops for your people. No, the people must now look inward. All of us now must begin to hold our local governments to account, hold our states to account before we look at the federal. So, in this space of time now, what it means is that hitherto we have been having people, with all due respect, because I was a former local government chairman, but most of the people you are going to find at the helm of affairs at local governments where people were not really capable of driving development. But I think most governors are going to look very critically now. Most stakeholders within political parties are going to look very critically at individuals who can drive development at that level, just like we are looking at in the state. For instance, look at the situation that just occurred in Edo State. I'm so elated, I'm so happy. Since 1999, perhaps for the first time in Nigeria's democracy, this is the first time that a governor will be making cabinet appointments in his first week in
We'll
office.
talk about that in the second discussion segment. I don't want us to jump the gun. We have a segment specially dedicated to that particular talk. So just hold on, Honorable. I will come back to you. I know you're so excited about it, but we'll dive into it to take a look at the nitty-gritties. Now, if you take a look at INEC rep in Ondo State, but he said APC, yes, people have been in a situation about being aggressive and all that, conquering all states in Nigeria. That might not happen. At least, say 90% or 98% of the states in Nigeria may fall to the APC if other party allows it. But let's come back to INEC. Despite the fact that Bola is crying foul, saying INEC chairman should resign, you get to realize that 98%, or will I say, okay, fine, let's be fair, 90% of the result is in IREV, and they are following it. Does it mean that INEC has learned its lesson from what transpired in the Edo State election to be so transparent in delivering the result after they promised transparency, saying this time around it will be better than what was encountered in Edo State?
Thank you. I think, as it were, as I've earlier stated, that there is no news now that there were no transport, there were toll grid, there was BVM, we are not working. The only issue they are talking, it took me 10 minutes to vote. But the idea now, the main issues, what is the ideology of Agbola? He was in APC, now you are in PDP. Which is the ideology? Where is the manifestos? Politics without ideology? Just to jump here because you want to get power?
But he has an ideology. He has a manifesto. Which is from the APC to the PDP. Yes. He has told the people what he can offer.
Originally, he's a APC man. Yes. He was a deputy. He the camp. I went to PDP. Which of the ideologies is he maintaining? So this, when we look at Nigerian political structure, it's politics without ideology. Tomorrow is not okay for you, jump to the other party. You're not criticizing your former ideology. What is Agbola ideology? I've not seen it. Is it PDP only or is it personal own? You were a deputy to this man under this party. He didn't pick you again. You are not in another party, contesting against the master's party. I have always said, most of these politicians you have today, I wouldn't call them, I don't know the language I will use, whether they're political prostitutes. They have
political prostitutes.
Political prostitutes. They have no ideology.
Is that not so strong?
Yes, they are political prostitutes. You have an ideology you believe in. You contested. You won, you were deputy. Because they didn't pick you second time, you ran another party for another ideology. Maybe tomorrow it's not good enough. Then you go back to another party. Where are we going? We know Awolowo, UPN, we know his ideology. MPN, we know the ideology. But today, many people don't even know the ideologies of the manifestos. The other ones say, I have 3 ways agenda. When they win before they give you the agenda, how do you move forward? That is the problem we have. They have no ideologies. Many of them are not even educated. That is the irony of it all. As long as you have the money, you can manipulate the manipulation at the end of the day. That is the situation we find ourselves. You can see the situation we find ourselves today.
All right. All right. We are still waiting for INEC to really call, the results for us to know the winner. Though according to 15 local government, Ayedatiwa is coasting clear to victory. Up to 98% results on the portal. Nobody will say we didn't see it in the portal. Now let's take a look at INEC and of course the IREV. It seems to have worked better when compared to that of Edo State. Don't forget, in Edo State, according to a report, it got to a point it stopped. But in Ondo State, over 98% have been uploaded. No complaints about that. Do you think INEC is improving when you take a look at the Ondo State election?
Okay, before I comment on I'll start my comment with this, with the performance of INEC. I want to say that since the beginning of this democratic dispensation, we have been evolving politically. Our political system has been evolving, including the umpire itself. Once upon a time in this country, there was the issue of ballot stuffing, ballot snatching. You bring strong men, they steal, snatch ballots, and all of those things. But by the passage of time, I don't think that is still very feasible at this time, because as you are voting and the result is being transmitted, electronically, snatching ballot and coming to stuff the ballot box may not actually help your cause. So one way or the other, I think we've been improving in our electoral system. And if what is going on in Ondo State is actually a transparent system, I think it's kudos to INEC for improving.
You use the word is actually a transparent system. Are you doubting INEC? Because of the phrase you use, if it's actually a transparent system, that's connotes doubt.
No, not because I'm not on ground and I'm not in the room as at the moment. And then you also give the opposition the benefits of the doubt. You understand what I'm saying? It is at the end of the day when they've completed the process and you now have an holistic view of what is actually happening, then you can now make a categorical statement. So as of today, I'm not the umpire and I'm not in Ondo State. So I cannot say categorically. The feelers reaching us is that the APC is coasting to victory, while the opposition led by the PDP is crying foul. So by my analysis, I have to balance the two. Now, on the other issue of the fear of Nigeria becoming a one-party state, I very, very much have my doubts that that will happen. Simply because there must always be disagreements within the ranks of the political elites. And if there is such disagreement, you will always see some rancor and some party breaking away one way or the other. For example, at the onset, once again, of this democratic dispensation, we had I think, although we are a multi-dimensional party state in Nigeria, that means we have many, many political parties in Nigeria. That's the system that we operate. In 1999, 3 political parties were dominant. You know, the PDP, the AD, I think the NRC also, you know. So, is it the NRC or the APP?
No, you have a political party, AMPP, okay. SDP is even there.
Yeah, but there were 3 dominant political parties as at that time. The PDP took the south, the east, and some part of the north, while the AD took the western Nigeria. Then the north was the APP or AMPP, as the case may be, as at that time. Now, one way or the other, the PDP, being the dominant political party as at that time, started entering into the various regions. They took virtually all of the southwest, except Lagos in the other circle election, and then they took some part of the north. However, in the subsequent election, the trend started reversing. And during the days of Jonathan, the second contest of President Goodluck Jonathan, there were some party leaders of the PDP that break away, about 7 governors they were, and then joined forces with the ACN as at that time. And then the AMPP came from the north. And with that merger, also, I think the CPC as well. In short, a plethora of parties, a whole lot of parties came together to onstage the PDP at the federal level. So what I'm actually saying is this: there must always be dissatisfaction one way or the other. As we speak, I don't think everybody is happy with President Tinubu, no matter how noble his ideas are.
Okay.
You know? So by reason of that, I don't think Nigerians are fools.
Okay.
You know? Even when we are talking on, I'm coming, let me quickly
anchor. Yeah.
Even when we are talking on vote buying, there are times that you bring a lot of money to the polling unit, and Nigerians will still resist you. They may take your money and then they'll still vote against you. You know. So what I'm saying in essence is this: there is just no way one man will be able to ram his idea, especially if that idea is bad, through the whole of the over 200 million Nigerians.
So you're saying it's not totally correct that APC will just hold sway in all states of the federation?
I have my doubts.
Okay, fine. Now let's move on to New Jersey, where Honorable he's standing by. Now, we have 17 political parties that took part in Ondo State election, if memory serves me correctly. Now, we take a look at presidential election in Nigeria. 3 or 4 political parties were up front. You have the PDP, you have the APC, you have the Labour Party, and of course the NNPP. But now when you come down to Edo State, you have 17 political parties or thereabouts, and 3 political parties were predominant, which were the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party. Now let's switch over now to Ondo State. it was supposed to be three political parties, APC, PDP, and Labour Party. The question now is, what in the world is happening to Labour Party? Over now to you, Honorable.
Well, I think the internal political wrangling among some of the parties that you have mentioned is causing them a whole lot of harm. That is the PDP and the Labour Party. They are having serious internal wranglings. They've not been able to put their house in order, especially at the national levels. But in the APC, we have a strong leadership, and for the first time uh, in this political era, we are really having an astute politician who understands what it is to whip people in line, call for truce when they are contending, political actors. And even if you remember, there was a stalemate in Ondo State during the time that Rotimi Akeredolu was hospitalized and he was incapacitated at some point and was out of the country. But President Tinubu waded into the issue and insisted that the right thing must be done, and that Lucky Aiyedatiwa must, be sworn in as acting governor at the time. And eventually, when his predecessor passed away, he became the governor of the state. So you need a leader who have the political will and the political know-how to be able to organize a party and ensure discipline amongst its ranks. That's why the APC at the moment is enjoying this tranquility and peace and organization. If you look at the situation that also happened in our state, in Edo State, after the primaries amongst the leading political parties, the president was able to have a meeting with all of those who were either too aggrieved or not aggrieved, and he amicably resolved the issues, and everybody went away. And then it became one family affair when we went into the election. But if you look at the PDP, most of those who lost out in that primaries eventually decamped from the party. If you look at Labour Party, you had the Riceman was in court almost till the last minute trying to unseat barrister Olumide Akpata from that ticket and never really supported him, for that election. So there's been rancor, and the same thing is they've moved over to Ondo State. So they really do not have a strong political leadership right now in the Labour Party and PDP at the national level. And so that is causing them a lot of harm, and that's causing them to lose in some of these polls because they are not coming as a united house to face some of these elections, which the APC is enjoying at the moment. And in any case, APC at the moment have about 20 states in the country, and you have PDP still, they have 13 states, which is quite a lot of states. APC did not have as many states to upstage the PDP, when it did, when Buhari was brought on board when he replaced Goodluck Jonathan. And of course, you have Labour Party have a state in Abia, ABGA have a state in Anambra, and NNPP have a state in Kano. So there's still hope. It's political party contestation of ideas, and we are going to continue to have a multi-party democracy. And I defer to Esosa with what he has said. People at some point will be unhappy with the political situation, and there will be realignment of forces. But for now, I think President Bola Tinubu is providing the right leadership for the APC and is holding the fort for the party.
All right. Well, some are saying this like, a merry-go-round for the APC because of what is happening in the party, just going out there. They use the word sacking some states. That's what the word they use, sacking the state, because some are saying because of federal might. Well, that is their opinion. Some are saying because of the disagreement in the political parties like the PDP and, of course, like the Labour Party. Don't forget there was supposed to be, or there ought to be, or there was rather, because I'm very, very careful in choosing my choice of word. A squabble in the NNPP, they were able to resolve the squabble in the NNPP. But for Labour, you all know the story. PDP is trying to come together, but we all know the story. Before we call it a wrap on this segment, we can generally agree that the election was peaceful in Edo State, in Ondo State. Now, does it really mean that in the nearest future, another election will be able to conquer violence in our election, barrister?
See, you see, the election in Edo State and Ondo State, people decided to look at the antecedents of the people in power. What did they do? The antecedents. What did they provide for the people? Like in Edo State, everything went into a total fiasco. If you are sick, that used to rush to the ring road to go to hospital, they say, go to Sela Basanjo. I'm alive today because of that General Hospital ring road, where I had 2015, what do they call it? This something in this thing. I went there and you're going to do X-ray, come back. It was spinal cord. Private hospital told me it was infection, but I made it orthopedic. I said, no, go and do X-ray. And that is how it was restored. Well, is that a facility there today? A man that is sick in Goba's room, I want to rush a specialist. You said, go to the other place, hold up everywhere. So, I lost a very good friend, I don't want to mention his name. He collapsed in Goba's. Rush me. When I get it, they said, the doctors are no longer, you go to Sela Basanjo. Before you got to the main road, he died. So these are the things we are talking. What are people who are dying who were lecturers in the College of Education? Do you want those people to vote for the same party that destroyed them? What of Goriaki, a man who has spent 28 years as a lecturer? You gave him 1 month notice to leave, to go. Can those people still vote for you?
So that's the reason why you said the election in those states was peaceful.
No, people went out to vote not because of coercion. We want it this way. Let us be a change.
So that's why there was peace in those states and those state elections.
Who will make trouble when you want a change? Go to Ekpoma and take 4 hours. They tell you it's a federal road, but the federal people are not using it. It's the Edo people that were using the road.
Right.
I think it was peaceful because people wanted a change.
They wanted a change.
Change, simple.
Nobody wants to go kidnap ballot paper. Nobody wants to go snatch or fight or die for anybody. Do you share his views?
Well, not totally, although to an extent. I want to say that the peaceful elections that we are witnessing are due to a multiplicity of factors. One of them is that the security agencies are alive to their responsibilities. Let's give them kudos so far. The very fact that the policemen are on ground, soldiers are on ground, EFCC are on ground, all of those security agencies all on ground to ensure that, yes, there is security. That on its own will give the voters the confidence, to come out and exercise their franchise without the fear of being harassed or molested. Should such a thing come up, they believe that these people will be able to offer them succor or protection as the case may be. That is one aspect. The other aspect is the introduction of technology that I stated before, like the beavers and the arrowhead and all of those things. Now, it is no longer fashionable for you to come and snatch ballot box at the end of counting when the vote has already been transmitted electronically. All that you will be doing will be exercise in futility. It's not going to matter because the whole world has already seen the result. That is one aspect. That is the good aspect of technology. And then there is improvement in the system generally. Like I said, we've been evolving. With these improvements here and there, it is no longer fashionable. And also, another improvement again is that INEC has been able to show that we can have supplementary election. We can have staggered election. For example, you come to this place and you scare people away as a thug or whatever, just know that INEC may cancel that center, and if the votes from that center is enough to overturn or affect the outcome of the overall outcome of the election, they call for a supplementary election, a by-election, or whatever as the case may be, so that will be taken care of. So with all of these improvements, And then with the will and determination of the people,
people.
at the end of the day, we are getting better.
All right,
I think
thank
that
you.
is responsible for peaceful elections.
All right, thank you so much. So, son, let's get to hear the last line, so to speak, from Ehigariba on this particular discussion segment before we'll go for a break to introduce the next discussion segment. Now, from analysis, the Edo State election was peaceful. The Ondo State election was peaceful, but vote buying was predominant. And we are taking a look at the peaceful conduct of this election. What do you think gave rise to this? Briefly, and of course, an advice to the people of Ondo State.
Like Sosa said, there's been a lot of improvement in our electoral process. A lot has been done in the area of technology, and I still think they can take it a bit further. You would expect that with the introduction of biometric, that would have cancelled a whole lot of issues. And of course, you have the immediate transmission of results where it is possible. But don't forget that we have serious telephony issues. Many areas still do not have telephone network coverage, which was a big issue in Ondo State yesterday because the INEC officials complained that they did not have network to transmit results. Their systems were unusually slow. So these are factors that are beyond their immediate control because they are not provider of internet services. And I also believe that in Nigeria at the moment there is over concentration on election day. Other countries do not actually take holidays because it's just an election. People go about their normal businesses and they vote and they just do what they have to do and people count those. If you are really relying on biometric to such that it is impossible for one person to vote twice. What we need now is that as soon as you vote, your vote is supposed to count immediately. You have to vote into an electronic system so that people can go to work and go to school and find out 1 or 2 hours to go out there and vote. We are losing a whole lot of resources just because imagine at national elections, we have to close our border, close our airport. In Ondo State yesterday, businesses will ground to a halt, we're losing billions, and we are trying to play catch up economically. So it is not even economically viable for us to continue to shut down everywhere just because we want to elect officials. These are issues the National Assembly need to look at. We need money, we need resources, we need income. We cannot be shooting ourselves in the foot under the guise of wanting to conduct elections. So they must improve on technology such that election day can be like any other day, the way it is in every other country across the world that is developed.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, INEC, they are still collating the result as it stands right now. 15 local government has been concluded. And of course, Ayedatiwa is in the lead. Others are trailing behind. They are crying foul already. They went a break. When they returned, announced the remaining 3 local government, but from where it stands, from the standpoint of view, people are beginning to know the winner of the election. It's not them a place to say this party won the Ondo State election. We're still waiting for INEC to give us the exact figure, the exact number, and ultimately the winner of the election. Some are already celebrating because they know the outcome already from what they've seen. Well, good luck to the perceived winners, and of course to the perceived losers. You can try another day while we wait for INEC to call the results. Gentlemen, thank you so much for this wonderful discussion segment. If you just joined us, this is TMI